Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real-life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. After all, this is your creation. Now learn how to make it sing. In the Know with Steph and Joe airs Fridays at 3 p.m. right here on 216 The Net. Like, follow Steph's books and Restoration One of Cary, along with 216 The Net on Facebook, and subscribe to the 216 The Net YouTube channel.
On camera.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Yes, we did this right. Look at you,
As
Sam.
everybody could tell, per usual, Kent is not here doing the producing. We
So,
are left to our own devices. So,
However, we have a stand-in, Kent, now. Sam?
Not really.
Well, good joke, good joke.
Yeah,
All
as
right.
Ken said, I would be taking over some of the producing as especially right now, they are out in California.
Defornication?
Yes, at the Radio Merchants.
Oh, fun.
they're learning all the edumacations on the radio station, even though they've been operating this for 10 years. But whatever, it's fine.
How to do more.
It's been a long time
It's been
since
a long goddamn time since this started.
with Ron the Rancher.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah.
I think they said 2016.
Oh, okay.
It was like 2 years after Kent and I started.
So to get back on track.
Yeah.
Well, just so everybody knows, from our new building, because today I had to walk by the empty building, the empty spaces, made me a little sad, not gonna lie, but it takes me approximately 7 minutes to get here from the studio, from my
Is that
new location to the studio.
Obeying traffic laws?
We're on camera, so may or may not.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was a little interesting. But today we're going to be talking problem solution cycles in businesses, and I feel like everybody should know what that is.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
I kind of
is that my mom?
Hi, Mom.
Yep. Hi, Mom.
Kids, I haven't been called that in forever.
Aww.
Aww.
But
Hi,
so yeah,
Mom.
so everybody has, in theory, a problem at some point in time in their business when they're starting it up, operating, growing, adding staff, client experience, et cetera, et cetera. And then you come up with a solution. But then I don't know if you guys have noticed, but then it creates a whole new problem because you're in a whole different tier, or you're just moving into a different direction, or something happens. So it's just very common where this is like the never ending circle jerk of owning a business.
I like a good circle jerk.
I didn't know what to,
As long as I'm at the end. The right end.
Is that going back to minutes?
But it's just like a never ending cycle within your business that you're going to experience where you have a problem, solve the problem, now you have a new problem. So I don't know if anybody out there listening can share what they've had a problem with that they've solved, or it's a current problem that they're going through that they would like a solution for. And hopefully one of us can either help you, or somebody else that's more experienced can also help guide you in the right direction. So we're looking for 2 different types of people to comment today.
So, what's your problem? What are y'all's problem? What do you guys have a problem with?
Right now,
Yeah.
I guess right now, my biggest problem going into 2024 is going to be that I am stepping further into the shadows, and I am relinquishing control to a manager, an operations manager. So that's going to be my new problem. And so the solution to my secondary problem is that we're trying to buy one to 3 firms this year, because there's a bunch of accounting practices going up for sale. So we're trying to buy 1 or 2 or 3. And so now to combat that potential problem of onboarding, we've overstaffed the company in anticipation that my sales efforts and skills are as good as I think they are in my mind.
So a problem you have right now is you're overstaffed.
I will be as of Monday. Yes.
So you're overstaffed, and therefore you're going to go out or that was the plan. And now you're going to go out, buy more places. So then you're going to have to deal with onboarding. That's the new problem.
Yes. So then on trying to onboard 30 to 60 clients in one fell swoop, yes, will be my new problem.
Right.
That in a theory, I think I have solved, but we're going to see.
And then what, if you solve that problem, what do you think your future problem would be?
I think
if everything went hunky-dory and was good.
Realistically, I think the main problem that will be consistent within my business from the time it started to the time it dies is my hunger. That's going to be my consistent problem because I'm always going to be wanting to try and go down the one-up aisle to then see, like, can I do this next?
Like one-upping yourself?
Yeah. Like I love going down
yourself.
Well, everybody knows I love going down the one-up aisle. Like I had a friend, he had a 750 Shadow motorcycle. He wouldn't let me ride it. And so then I was like, whatever. And I went and bought a 1200cc Sportster Harley.
So you're what Kent and I used to say, you're a one-upper. And we used to talk about that, but it was more towards there's always one guy in the group that's like, that's a lot like this time that blah, 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 blah. So it's different than that.
Right. Like I don't need to have the story that one-ups your story.
Gotcha.
I personally, for my personal growth, would like to go down the one-up aisle.
Yeah.
And see what the next chapter brings down in that sector.
Interesting.
Like I don't need a one-up you in restoration.
There's a great quote by Jordan.
I hope not.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay. Yeah. I'm not one-upping you in bookkeeping.
Right. Like it's like
I understand my weaknesses.
Like I had to move from the Tunyon Towers to our new building.
Right.
And I have a newfound respect for your ant life and how much you can lift and move and all these things. Cause I think I pulled a muscle in my arm I didn't even know was there.
I thought you had a respect for that when I moved the table.
That was a different type of respect, but yes,
Yeah.
that was impressive. That was
Okay.
just impressive, just on a different level of impressive. I mean, it was like a 300-pound table and Joe flipped it into his truck like it was just like a Tic Tac. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, it's like Carrie calls me the ant. And it's just, I'm like, nope. Short people can't do that.
I was short most of my life when I was younger. So not like, I mean, like until I was 10 or whatever, but I literally, my driver's license said I was 5'2" because that's how tall I was.
So much you grew after that. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it said I was 95 pounds, but that was a lie. I was probably like
to sit in the back seat.
85 pounds.
Shut up. He still needed a booster. But, so it's just these new
Legit.
problems and things as you grow. Like now we have a whole building. So now the pressure's on to find renters for our additional space in the building. And then do we occupy the whole building? And,
right.
It's just like there's always something to think about to determine is the juice worth the squeeze.
And I think what a lot of people don't realize is what you're saying is your decision your solution to the problem that's right ahead of you also correlates to 2 or 3 moves down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So you really, like you're talking about the building, right? Like it's one of those where like, I actually don't want this building. If it was a full building, I would want to go somewhere else. Like you have to anticipate those moves so that the solution now works sort of for the long term. At least.
Well, and okay, you knew you were going to get the building. You got the building. You knew you were going to have to go and find renters. You're working on renters, right? Like you're getting.
We got one renter. One space is already rented.
Maybe
maybe two. So you have like buying a building is taking that on and going, okay, that's a big problem.
Well,
right?
so like my original problem is we outgrew the space in the Tunyon Towers, which everybody knew.
Right.
So we outgrew the space. We had to find another space. So then my new problem was finding the space. But the rent for the space that we needed was between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. So it was going to put us, I mean, we paid, I don't know if I want to say this out loud, but we paid $500 a month where we were. So it was a big difference in what we were paying.
Mm-hmm.
So then the problem became that. So then this building came available for purchase. Well, now the solution to my problem was very clear to buy the building because my mortgage on a 10-year loan is $1,500. And I will own the building. And it will be mine forever.
And you can supplement because it's larger than what you need.
Right. It is larger.
As far as occupied space or
for right
space
now.
Yeah, exactly. So you can supplement some of that, and you might even bring yourself back down to where you were when you were here.
Right. So then I had to, so then to solve that. So the solution was ultimately to purchase because it just made more financial sense.
Solve that big problem.
It gave us the space we needed. And then
created a smaller problem in the sense of I still have to supplement this 3 times my current rent for this new mortgage.
Right.
Now that's a smaller problem than what you had. So now you have a smaller problem. You go out and you get subletters, right? And you get people to come in. That supplements that problem. Now you'll have an even smaller problem with just making sure that you pick the right people that take care of things and whatever, right? And if you know enough people, you do. That becomes an even smaller problem in the sense of now how much cash do I have to put into a big pool and do like a Scrooge McDuck off the diving board into
You always go back to that, don't you? Every episode it goes back to Scrooge McDuck somehow.
It doesn't, but I just thought that was funny. So
I mean, like
it's close every time.
So what's a problem that you and Carrie are having? Because I know that from shows and stuff, you guys have obviously had some growth, like some significant jumps in the last like 18 months. So now what's your new problem?
Last year it was, and I could say kind of like last year we worked on kind of honing our bottom line, if you will, right? And still while trying to grow our revenue top line. And so then as you focus on that kind of area, sometimes like another area might slip. And so, just kind of keeping our humans focused on the, the quality that, high quality of what we need to do to get paid and making sure that every step is taken, right? Even though there's small steps and small little details and it's like combing through the weeds, right? To literally like make sure that everything's good or all the weeds are straight and not knotted. That was kind of like those little nitpicky things of just making sure that everything's perfect was our problems. Like, trying to hone in on that. We have other areas we want to grow, but those are just all like, we need space. We're running out of space.
Right.
So that's like another one is like,
because I've been to your office. Like, I don't know where you guys are going to put more people unless they're going in the rafters.
Well, we did put 2 desks up in the rafters. Yeah, actually we call it a, we have 2 lofts because we have 2 units, right? And so
it's the crow's nest.
We call it the loftus.
Oh, okay.
It's a loft office.
I thought it would have been more piratey from you, but I guess that's fine.
I didn't get a chance to name it. They did it while I wasn't there, but they're the loftuses. It's a loftus. So yeah, space. We need space. We're running out of space. That's a big, an issue we have. So that's going to be a problem. And then once we go and find a space, maybe I doubt it because there aren't many that are the size we need that are set up the way we want that are already there or available.
Because you guys have a sweet parking lot. That's the problem. Like your parking lot and stuff to be able to host the events that you host and have like an ice cream truck and a food truck and all that. Like they have. Like so it's a lot of space.
I haven't been there, but let me ask you like 2 questions. One is do you have a lot of office administration, customer service? Is that all like there, or is it just all for the field? We have 6,400 square
6,400 square feet ish. I would say all but we have a conference room, which is probably about, actually probably from that wall to like here,
It's
right?
Yeah.
It's not
It's a standard size
That's a
conference room.
Yeah, it's not big. It's and that's one of the walkways into the office. And then there's an office probably about the, a little bit bigger or whatever. And that one is shared by our ops guy and my wife. And then
I guess the thing I was trying to get to is like because you're a franchise, right? Yeah. So you guys don't deal with like customer service or like, do you guys have like a call? You guys don't have any like
my wife's call center.
Okay. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, we're 24/7, so it constantly rings.
So the majority of all of your employees are in the field employees.
Correct.
That's what
they're all.
Okay.
They have, they bring their stuff in. They all have their little like cubby areas that they created, or in whatever area. We have a shop side, so that's all of our equipment and things like that that the shop people use.
The only thing I was getting to is I know one guy that is the same way, but he also has a lot of just customer service. He likes to take that customer service and it's, whatever he does, I don't know, but it's more in-house. And
Christine said her office is her car, which it is.
That's true. I only see Christine in her car, but ever since my car isn't lettered anymore, I don't get the same level of waves from her, but I do see her.
It's hard to spot you.
Now that I'm incognito.
Yeah.
But what he does is he has one building because he outgrew that, and that's for his field, and then he went and got office space for just his like office employees. So he kind of did that way instead of trying to find everything all in one roof.
I want to build.
Yeah,
I want to buy vacant land and build.
I'm being like, I'm just
I appreciate that because there's so many things. If something were to come up for the space we need, I would totally jump on it. But Christine said her office, Rhonda rocks. Rhonda is her car.
Rhonda the Honda.
Rhonda the Honda. Yeah.
All of Joe's cars have names.
Every single vehicle is named. The truck out there, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Yeah, that's my truck.
You do that at the end of the night, you just slam the door shut and you're at home and go,
bye, Felicia. Yep. Where were we going with that? All of our vehicles are named, but the main thing to me is where the fuck were we going?
You want all under one roof.
The office space and building.
I want to buy a vacant land and I want to build all under one piece because then
and how you want it laid out.
Right, because then my next problem would be I build spaces to rent.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not enough of those small shop units that people want that are 2,000 square foot or less, right? For shop or industrial style.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have a couple
single unit. Yeah, whatever.
Doing his thing. Yeah,
exactly.
We have a few clients in the construction space and everything and restoration space, and they're talking about the same thing where they want to buy land and create like basically like a storage unit facility plus their own operation unit because it's just nice to be able to just park their trailers and have like a warehouse that's big enough to park their trailers
control of space
and be able to do that because it's just like not every like office front that's available for rent has the space or the size of the warehouse to get those certain pieces of machinery within there.
Absolutely.
Like pole barns and stuff,
Well, and that's where, finding some vacant land and doing that would create the problem for us of now we got to fill that land, maintain it, things like that, which smaller problem than running out of space and not having enough space currently.
Right? Oh, wait, time out. I just saw that Eric is listening. If he's still listening, I just want to let you know you're going down tomorrow with the snacks. Just putting that on air.
Oh, wow.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
on
Sam,
air
go ahead.
Smackdown. Wow.
I guess, so if we're asking me, my problems this year are from changing basically my entire genre of clientele.
Right.
The whole 9 yards, and then getting into tech because I'm going from consulting, going from one niche, which was insurance, to the beauty industry and creating the more tech side, which would be an app and stuff like that. We're creating. So it's really going into.
Keep dreaming, Steph.
We'll see who's more satisfied at the end of the night, Eric. We'll see.
Wow. I'm gonna snack on Eric's board all night long. I mean snacks.
So it's really the problem I'm having is changing everything marketing wise over to that new complete niche, right? Genre and everything, and the imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
So I have to go behind a brand.
When you go behind that brand, I am
snack size. There is nothing superior to me.
Well,
we're gonna move on from that topic.
Eric,
if anybody doesn't know, there's a gala tomorrow, or gala, or however you want to call it. Tempt me with a good time, Joe. Oh God, don't even start with me.
So Eric, you recently
and all of us are going, so we're all talking smack to each other. Yeah. Obviously,
clearly, Eric and I are having a snack off for the after party. But Eric, you guys recently changed your name of your company. So how has that been with your problem solution cycle? Has that been difficult with people like learning and knowing you guys as the new name when you guys have had the old name for, X amount of years and stuff like that? If you could chime in for like real talk besides smack talking, but
So yeah,
real conversation.
That's the biggest thing for me right now. It's just moving all of that. And it's not, I'm going behind a brand for the new stuff, whereas just myself.
Right.
And I kind of knew a warm market of all the people I was already helping. So.
Was there a bigger problem that was presented to you that made you do this?
Here,
Christine has a question for you, Sam.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
AI with your app.
How will you be implementing AI with your app in your marketing?
We're looking at a few things with the AI. A lot of the AI that I've researched is, it's trainable, obviously. So it's really what you put out there, what you already write, and what you're searching for. So it's getting the keywords, it's getting all of that stuff honed in.
Your proper question that you ask it, basically to set up to your answer.
A lot of training that has to go into it. So it's really just about that. But yeah, we're going to be doing it for a lot of stuff, whether it's chatting with somebody, whether it's, automated response, the whole 9 yards. Right now, that's really what the most effective thing for AI is that automated responses and that conversation-ish stuff.
Yeah, so Eric says that Eater Casella was around since the 80s, and so it's been super difficult with the new name. And then what does Eric say? How does everyone
think you pronounce?
Yeah, how do you? Well, I guess he can't say because he's not. Yeah, I don't know. I still call you Eater Casella because I can't pronounce the new name. Maybe we'll figure it out tomorrow.
That's how I say it. Ascension.
But yeah,
it's like Accentsian.
So how did you guys come up with that name as the solution to? Because I know Casella, like Eater Casella, I knew that the Casella side of things had moved on. Right. Okay. So like that's another difficult thing. Like that's an example of something that like. I mean, I don't foresee being a problem with the company that I have,
Eric,
but it could.
Can you spell out the enunciation like they do in the dictionary?
So, like, if my name,
the phonetical.
So, like, if my name changed, like, if I changed the name from Steph's bookkeeping service to something else, like, I feel like it would be a very weird situation because I feel like people know that people call me. Like we literally had our first walk-in at our new building.
Devil's advocate.
I didn't even know how they even knew how to find us because we hadn't updated it on Google yet. But
Really?
Yeah.
Just because they found you?
Some guy called me. He's like, "Oh, I went to the Tunyon building and they said that you weren't there anymore, and they gave me your new address."
And that's like how many days has it been?
Like 4?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I was like, "That's our first walk-in in 6 years. We've never really had like a walk-in." Like we usually like it says appointment only on everything. So like it was like really weird when the guy called me. He's like, "Hey, I went by your building," and I'm like, "The new building? Like, how did you know where that was?"
Wow. So you had your first walk-in. Do you feel like it was beneficial?
Not prepared.
You weren't prepared?
I wasn't there. I was at a meeting with a client in Schaumburg. So like,
so your employees
like,
had your employees.
my
had to
team was there, but they didn't even text me that the person came in. So I guess it's a new problem.
I was gonna say, what problems now have you gotten?
I guess the new problem is that we potentially are going to have walk-ins now that people know we have our own building.
Wow.
Right? Like, I mean, but I'm really weird about that stuff. Like, I label everything as appointment only because even at my house, if you don't have it, like, if I don't know you're coming over, it's more likely than not, I'm not answering the door. It will be locked. I'm not answering it.
If I come over, you'll answer for me.
I
She doesn't know
will.
you're coming.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
point.
okay.
Like, I don't
That's
even go
okay.
by the door.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. I'll stop. You'll hear me.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess that's your solution, just because you're loud. But you know,
Small problem to me.
It's good to know.
That's a small problem to me. Yeah.
but you know,
Don't
so
worry, it'll still be there.
it's just like these weird things now that I feel like are gonna pop up in our business now that we have a building and like the things that we have to buy, like it's like starting all over again, like when you first move out of your house. Like,
Okay.
like having cleaning supplies and
But-
paper
I
towels
know.
and like
But
you know what I
hang
mean? Like
on,
all these
hang
like
on,
weird things.
That's what I'm saying though, is if you were to drop Steph's books and
Right.
start your own business, devil's advocate.
I do have my own business.
Well, start a different. Sorry, not your own business, a different business, or just rebrand.
Right.
Isn't that the same thing as when you started? Like, if you could go back to day one of starting Steph's books, knowing what you know now, don't you think you would done it a little different but better? Don't you feel like you would have done it better at least? So now if you rebrand, you can kind of start from scratch and be like, okay, this is now.
I don't know, because I'm starting this new adventure with being a landlord and being
Well,
like,
that's brand new.
like that's
what
a
I'm saying,
whole
though,
new
is, like,
business and a whole new
rebranding-
thing. And like,
rebranding to me is not.
I still
brand
feel
new.
like I'm throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks because like I've never been a landlord before, so I don't know. But
that's
if I
new.
opened up like a
You
new,
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
if I opened up a new bookkeeping company, like would I do it differently?
No, if
From
you
the
had
start?
to rebrand.
If I had a rebrand, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
No, if you had to rebrand. What's Eric say?
Oh, that makes sense. It plays for our initials and the Italian word for exemplary.
Exceptional.
Or sorry, exceptional.
There is.
I
Do you
can't
need
see this.
glasses?
Yes.
Dude, there is an entire video on how to say the name on our website. He left the website. I dropped my phone. So
Clearly, we know
What?
what Joe's doing later.
what?
We know what you're doing later.
What?
Watching the video.
Oh, I'm gonna. I wonder if Eric, did I say it right?
Hmm.
Essesian.
It sounds very.
Guess not, huh?
Where are you getting that?
But so okay, so in the
So-
green room, we were
yeah.
talking.
Well, I was asking if you could rebrand your brand quicker and build it quicker than you built Steph's books.
You
As far as, like-
I can just
Sounds
say what
right,
you can.
according to Eric.
There you go. Bam.
Yep.
Nailed it.
So that
All
was
right.
it.
I don't know. Like if I changed
I
the
feel like
name,
you would. Yeah.
if I changed the name, I don't think I would be able to do it quicker because I would have to just retell all those same people again.
Yes, you would, because you have the clientele and the revenue, so you can put out the marketing piece a lot quicker. Sorry, was that fast enough?
Okay,
Yes.
Peanut Gallery.
No, I mean, but seriously, he said rebrand. He didn't say start over. So if you're
Exactly.
rebranding, you have all of the assets, you have all the marketing, you have
You-
all those cogs. Are
All you, yeah. Uh-huh.
Sure, Eric. Let's hear some of your suggestions. Eric wants to know if we could rename Steph's bookkeeping and come up with
On
some new
air.
names.
So everybody
Okay,
start
go
throwing
ahead. If
up the
anybody has a
renaming.
suggestion, I would
Steph's
be happy
books.
to hear.
Yep. I can't wait for that one.
Submissions are open.
I wonder if, while you're at it, throw out some for my new restoration name. Let's see what those ones come up with.
The word midget cannot be in it, Eric, just so we're clear.
Boom.
even though she asked for the tall stool the tall chair right before we went on air.
The intro is playing. He's scattering to find the stool.
Whatever. Your chair is shorter than mine by at least like
I know
4
it
inches.
is.
I don't like it. But so
yeah. So where were we?
Wow.
Yeah.
ShamWow. So
ShamWow.
so if you were to rebrand, let's say
Yes.
no rebranding. What? Oh God, now we're compact bookkeeping.
oh my god, I can't
All
wait
right.
for tomorrow. But okay. So
You already have everything in place.
well, I get it, but I just feel like if it's a new name, like I don't know.
You can't sell
If, like, my
compact bookkeeping. Oh
my god, my aunt now?
yes, the tall chair didn't. We still can't see her behind the microphone. Oh my God.
Tiny helping hands bookkeeping.
Oh.
Okay, everybody's in on it. I love this. Keep them coming, guys.
Now, so this show is supposed to be about the cycle of.
Apparently, I
Problems.
have a lot of problems. Apparently, I feel like Eric's been thinking about this clearly for a lot of months. Miniature people keeping the books.
Wow, I love this. This is great. All right, let's put those on pause for just keep them coming. I mean, you guys don't stop with those. But hang on, let's get through a partial of the conversation,
So
and then
this-
we'll unload
so
a
we're
bunch
talking
of them.
about The problem solution cycle.
Right.
correct?
Apparently, I have a lot of problems,
So
Exactly.
all surrounding by my height.
Oh my God.
do you guys have? First of all, do you have a process? And if so, explain it a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
So for me, I've gotten a couple of things throughout the years in doing restoration. We have a lot of great resources. So God, that's hilarious. So if I can utilize one or two of them, right? There's always a way to do it, a way to get through it. So one of the ones that I've seen is it's involving like a strategic process and walking through solving a problem, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
And so figuring out the base root of the problem,
Right.
creating a bunch of options for solutions, listing them kind of then in order, and then, putting the kind of advantages, disadvantages of each solution, right? And then
What's the
picking,
max options you give yourself? Do you have a max? Because I max out at 3. I don't like more than 3 options. I feel like more than 3 gets messy.
No.
So you'd be open to more than 3 options?
I could write 7 or 8 and be fine with that.
And you don't feel like that dilutes like the process?
I'm kind of close. I do 5, and then let's say there's however many options.
Okay. Keep
I
going.
take 5, and then I automatically just off a gut get rid of 2 to 3 of them. So
Mhm.
I'm down, and then I take those last 2 or 3, and I really take.
What about Frodo's hairy toe bookkeeping? How about that?
Okay, we have to catch up just slightly because Eric's on he's got a couple good ones. Okay, first one that I cracked up, Gringotts bookkeeping. Second one was Gollum's keeping of the precious books. Yes, precious.
That one's oh my god. That one's
Okay, so if you do come across these issues, I like to list out as many options because some of the options you may be writing down, you can blend with other options, right? But just by like jotting them. So to me, I could have 20 options. I'm just like stenciling them real quick so that way they're there. And then I kind of put them in order.
Nope, my max is always 3.
Here, okay.
Like everything is a max of 3
Are you
in my world.
are you talking like more like brainstorming, or are you talking about actual options that have been placed in front of you that you can execute?
Oh yeah, I guess there's a difference.
That's a big difference.
This would be in the brainstorming.
Okay,
phase,
then that's
right?
fine.
Yeah.
Game
yeah,
on with that.
Yeah.
However many you can think
Then
of.
yeah, like brainstorm them out, like I'll whatever,
Right.
Yes, in my head, think of as many different ways the rabbit could run down the hole.
Exactly.
Right. Then from there, kind of order them.
Okay.
Now I'm ripping the top 3.
Okay.
Is there anything that I thought of before that might associate or be able
Right.
to be involved with
And
the
that's
top
what
3?
that's what that 2 that I kind of like
Yeah,
got. Like, okay, let me just double
not
check.
3, but maybe 4 or 5.
Well, for
but-
whatever.
Hey, oh God, what is it? It's Eric. So it's Lupa's Delicious Books. It should be Oompa Lupa's Delicious Books.
But yeah, so yeah, I would have to have a max in my final 3 because I feel like I'm the type of person, like if I go to the grocery store and let's say I go to like the barbecue sauce section, which is like big.
I'm so glad I don't like barbecue sauce now.
Okay,
What?
okay.
I don't like it.
That's so weird.
I'm sort of tracking, but go
So like if there's like
So
a
many.
new option, like for example, the other day I went to go buy some barbecue sauce because Rich smoked a butt. So I had to get coleslaw.
ahead. What?
I had to get coleslaw and barbecue sauce, and there was a new one that was like this honey hot. Never seen it before. And then I was like, I stood there literally for 20 minutes looking and deciding. Like, I don't like the curveball things. Like, I like my set,
Interesting.
like 3 things or set like options. Like, remember when we were kids and they had like purple ketchup or green ketchup or the red ketchup? Do you remember at
I
the grocery
do.
store?
Yes.
You know, like
Okay.
it's
I
just
wasn't
no.
a kid, but
like
yeah.
it overwhelmed me with selection. Like I get overwhelmed easily with options. So like
Really?
I have to limit it to 3 core options. Like if Rich is going to present software to me, he knows he could only do like a max of 3 options.
So okay, but if you have a problem that you have to come up with, like there is no technology anything like that. Keep putting this on.
Honey, I Shrunk the Books. Good one, Eric. Little people keeping big books. That's a TLC show.
Totally, yes. Like the brain.
I can't wait to see him tomorrow to kick him in the shin. Oh,
Wouldn't that be the toe?
maybe. Nobody likes to get kicked in the pinky toe. Have you stubbed your toe?
Yes, but it's
One of
like-
my friends just posted.
That's a
one.
problem.
Yeah, yeah.
But so,
like if you're brainstorming, like there's not options that like you have to manufacture that option, right?
if
There's
I'm
2 that are, like-
brainstorming, it's still really like not that many options ultimately.
yeah, okay.
Because I have a problem with commitment. So then if I have that many options
Sorry, Rich.
and then like Rich will tell you, like, I mean,
I know, we've
understand what
talked.
you're saying.
like,
I'm kidding.
so it's just like, if I have that many options, I get overwhelmed and then I have to table it and we can't make a decision then.
Okay.
So like I have like this brain block that happens
You're a German Shepherd.
and okay, sure.
Sorry, that was a light bulb.
What did you learn today?
Downsizing your accounting. When Carrie and I was at one of these sales things, this lady was talking about being different dog types, and that's your personality,
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that before.
And one of the personality, there's 4 of them, right? 4 dogs.
Yeah.
One of them is a German Shepherd, and they can only be presented with like 1 or 2 options or
Go
whatever.
or stop.
Mhm.
And then if you present them with anything more during the process, right, you have to contemplate those. And if you present it with anything more, it's like crap. Start from scratch.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is with me. Yes.
Like,
Right.
I could. Oh my
But
God!
so
Now
if
I know.
I get-
Okay, now I know.
If I get overwhelmed in options, like Eric seems to be just berating me with options of names,
They all
I
seem to be
cannot-
themed, by the way.
like I will shut down. Like I will mentally shut down, and then no decision will be made for at least like it will extend the process.
Okay, so then what is your process for that?
What do you mean? Like
For when you're stuck, you're like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. Like, what
If
is it?
I'm
Is it just time, or is it
so
That's a good question.
if I get overwhelmed, then yes, I have to mentally reset. But if I'm starting, like if I'm approaching a problem and I start to see a solution and I feel like that's a viable solution, I will cling on to it and like that's it. We're going with that.
I get that part.
Like it's like
Do
a
or die.
like
That's
it's
what you
a
do.
super like
Yes.
fast like
Yeah, she's
knee
ride or
jerk
die.
reaction.
She's
Like
ride or die.
we're just gonna do this, and
But
that's
it's
it.
not knee jerk because you've thought it out.
Kind of sometimes. Like
Not
my whole like I feel like in theory, so like example, like we want to grow a significant amount this year. We feel like between our marketing budget and now this budget that we've set for purchasing and acquiring firms,
Right.
it's just like I decided like we need to have more people. So I hired more people. So now the pressure's on to see in theory if I was correct in my decision to solve the problem. You know, like did we need to buy a firm that has no people and I have people that could readily take this on? Or should I have bought a firm that has people?
And utilize them just to onboard.
Right. So yeah. Like our big trip, like, cause we're supposed to be taking a trip for my 40th this year. Cause I'll be turning 40 this year. And, like there's too many options. So now I've tabled it and now we're not allowed to talk about it anymore until I'm mentally ready to circle back around. So nobody in my family is talking about it anymore.
Do you give yourself a time limit for that? That's circling back around and thinking
No, just until I'm.
Yeah.
reset.
I know how to do this. Okay.
So, yeah, what is it?
I totally understand this. Eric says that based on turning 40, it's time you get to grow up. What do you say? It's about time.
I'm
You
5
need
feet
about
1
5 feet.
inch. Okay, I'm 5 feet 1 inch. I can ride all of the roller coasters, Eric. So, just so you know, all of the roller coasters. Some of them barely, because some of them are 60, or there's some of them are 54 inches. So I barely get on those. But I'm on.
Squeak by.
I'm on.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
And I will never board a roller coaster in front of you or Eric. Just so we're all clear.
Why?
Because I have to face the chair to climb up to spin around to sit down.
What?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all have kids that are not. I mean, your kids are grown-ish, but
Listen,
like
I told you that I was 5'2" when I
when
got my
they're getting
driver's
in the high
license,
chair.
right? Like, so I understand. I was 1 inch taller than
don't you
when I got
remember
my
when your
driver's
kids
license.
got into the high chair or got into a
Yeah,
chair?
yeah.
They had to face the chair.
And
Oh,
climb
I'm
up
talking
into
about high
it.
chair and
Yeah. They climb up into
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's how you get into roller coasters.
Yeah, that's how.
epic.
Yeah.
Filling little shoes bookkeeping. Wait, it's Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bookkeeping. Sorry, I had to throw one out there.
Yeah, I just
All right.
spike my hair and I get on.
There you go.
That's my
Really?
solution.
Yeah. So
80s bangs.
just a little growth is all a little bump.
So what is your process for when you guys have a problem, like not planning problem, but a problem?
Define a problem, because problems come in all different shapes and sizes. Like there's
so-
there's
So like you
something-
had an interview with an ops person
Yeah.
today.
uh-huh.
So you're clearly looking
Right.
to
Yeah.
grow and expand and give that side of the business to somebody to manage.
Right.
So you guys obviously saw a problem that was happening within like you carry
Growth. Yeah, we need more.
Right.
Yeah, our problem is that we have been growing and we need more humans to fill the shoes. Because, as you grow, I don't know, do you do an org chart for your company and like show where people are at and all layered? We do. And so once you start to like grow to a certain size, you have to like fill those spots, and there's just we don't have enough people in the business to fill the spots, so we got to start hiring more. So that's why we're doing it. it's a good problem to have, as people
Of
say,
course,
right?
of
Like
course,
that's the saying. It's a good problem to have, but it's still a freaking problem.
I have
right?
a question. When people say it's a good problem to have, when you're like, oh, I've grown this much, or oh, I have to hire, or I am hiring too, and like, oh, it's a good problem to have. Do you ever want to punch them in the face because you know, like in the trenches, how much of a struggle that is sometimes?
To get to that point.
But no, I mean, not even
I
to
would
get to
say
that
it's
point
all
when
perspective.
you're in the trenches of like, you're like, well, shit, I need to hire 2 or 3 people, and we need to develop a whole new role that has never been added to our company before. And then somebody's like, oh, well, that's a good problem to have. Ha ha ha. Like, do you ever just feel like,
Yeah,
No.
I do. Yeah,
No.
I understand
Yeah.
where you're coming from.
yeah,
I mean, it's that like, first of all, you have no idea, and second of all, I think it's that like, it's their problem, it's their mentality, it's their perspective or whatever of like almost jealousy.
If they say it
To
in
be
a
honest
way that is like that, like, oh, that's a good problem to have, right?
Right.
Like that to me, then yes, that's a problem. But
It's
if they're
not.
like, oh, that's a good problem to have, yeah, you're right.
And
It
usually
is.
they've probably been there.
You know,
I
or
don't know,
something
I feel
like that. Yeah.
I feel like anybody, so like, I don't know if anybody can attest to this that's listening, but like, I feel like anybody that's been through these struggles, like the things that we've kind of been bouncing around with here, that they have a different like approach when they come to tell you, like when you're talking about this problem, it's a very different approach. They're like,
Absolutely.
oh, okay, well, I did this, and this, and they provide you with the solutions
Yes.
that worked for their business, versus somebody that's an armchair quarterback and is like, oh, that's a good problem to have. Well, not really, because it fucking sucks in the minute. Like,
Yeah.
I'll get through it, but like,
You know what I noticed?
Okay.
You
Go
know what
ahead.
I noticed is that people, the armchair quarterbacks, as you say, they'll give you talking points, whereas the person that's actually been through it will give you like, hey, this is what I did. Here's who I contacted. Here's who I had to get
right,
on
like
board.
I
You know,
want
they give you
some
tactical,
direction.
like actual tactical.
Are you
advice.
looking for
Right.
direction, or are you just looking for a
Yes,
shoulder to
like
cry
I am always looking for advice. Whether I'm going to take your advice is a whole different thing. Whether I can tweak, like, because obviously we've
Okay.
talked about multiple times on the show how like my industry and the things are slightly different than your industry and the
Totally.
things. But at the end of the day, we're still entrepreneurs. We're still business owners. We still have people that we're providing for and mouths to feed and et cetera, et cetera. But like the way you go to the solution for the problem is different, but I could still take nuggets along your breadcrumb trail and apply them into my solution.
That's a great way to say it.
So one of the when I was in Florida the beginning of this week doing a little peer group thing, and the guy leading it was actually
Lynn.
on this radio show. Hi, Lynn. And he was on this radio show, and while we were down there, he said, he goes, guys, business is just a game. Right? Being a business owner is just a game, right? And he says that, and you're like, as a business owner, and you're like, oh, my goal is to help employees and grow a business and help the community, and right, like I want to give back. But to be honest, if you look at it, God, it's playing the numbers, right? If you're not playing the numbers and you're not watching your numbers and knowing it and playing the game of like, I have to market, I have to do this, I have to do that. Right? You're not going to build that machine properly. It's going to be off-weighted in some form or sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to get a and a nope at the end.
Right.
And you're not going to be producing your widget properly.
It's constant. Like you guys were in the green room, we were talking about this, how it's just, it never ends. The problem, solution, solution.
Hopefully, though, in that process of problem solution, you're growing and you're solving you're solving the problem, and therefore your problems are then getting smaller and smaller. Or if you look at it in the bigger sense, you're going from big giant problems that you got to solve, like buying a building and blah, 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 and boiling them down, and all of your problems become down into the weeds, where you're literally just trying to like fine-tune the details.
I was listening to a podcast on the way here today by Andy Frisella of First Form, and he said, my problems have gotten bigger and more difficult and actually more stressful and more struggleful when it's been a huge company, because he goes,
More money, more problems.
Right. But he goes, And he said this is what it was. He goes, finding the solution's not the hard part at that point. He goes, being able to get everyone to actually execute it at that size of a business
Right.
is what becomes the problem, because now it's not just you and 5 guys, it's you and 500 people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So it becomes
Execution.
He goes, it's more stressful now dealing with however many people we have, 500, as it was 5 or 10.
So, but there are people that can get,
And that's just
hang on.
Business.
There are people that lead cults into the woods to do crazy things.
Like Kool-Aid stuff.
Yeah, whatever. So all I'm saying is there are people out there, and there are people that do that with companies where literally people will follow them. Whatever they say, that's what we're doing.
Are you talking about Enron?
Actually, I was talking about insurance world because I've seen some things happen in the insurance world. But
Been there, done that.
yeah, but like people will follow somebody, to wherever they go, because that person is a great leader, and whatever they say, they know they will execute, and they know they will get it done. So to me, it's more that's kind of more a question of leadership. If you have a big giant company, you still can have a great leader that knows how to execute and get things done.
But execute from the CEO to execute from the customer service that's a little bit of a you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
At a point, it's a struggle.
You got to build your systems right?
Well,
like
that's what So
if everything by and all everything's set up perfect in a perfect world, no, I think bigger more money isn't more problems. It's like,
no, I would say
how big of a swimming pool do I have to have so I can Scrooge McDuck right into it?
And the question you would ask yourself is, it becomes a burden if you've done the wrong planning, right? It becomes a bliss if you've done the right planning. So it goes back to how many moves ahead are you looking when you're solving those problems? And
Boom! I love that.
It goes back to that. So if you're at like 2 moves ahead, great, you're looking at maybe getting the next building. If you're at 10 moves ahead, you're like, okay, are we franchising this? Are we looking at,
Ooh, see, my mind won't work like that. I
You see
can't
what
do
I'm saying?
it. Like I could do like 2 or 3 moves ahead,
right?
and solve the problems, but like anything beyond that, I'm like,
so that's where like
it's sketchy at best.
if you do picture,
Really?
Oh yeah.
I love looking into the future. I am a 30,000-foot view.
Like,
I like to look from the moon.
Like the day we opened up Steph's books, like Rich is like, we're gonna take over the bookkeeping world. We're gonna do this and this, and he had all these grandiose ideas and all these things, and I'm like, I just don't see it. Like I don't see.
I don't know how we're gonna do
this. But
you did
it's just. I mean, we're progressing, yeah, but it's just.
So
like,
is Rich driving that side of it, and you're just along for the ride? Not necessarily along for the ride, but
he is much less risk averse than I am.
That's men though.
Like
not
is
necessarily.
like he is much
she said less, sorry.
less like risk adverse.
So he's out to knee jerk or not knee jerk, but
like
he's
I'll
out
do
to take a risk.
Like when I decided I wanted to
He'll
go into
put $1,000 on black and let the craps table roll.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
While I'm playing penny stock, penny slots. Yeah.
Got it.
Like
not necessarily. No.
Like
my wife would totally throw.
Really?
I mean, maybe not 1,000. She'd hold back, but I'm much more poignant in what I do when I'm gambling, right? Like, yeah. What?
Where's Carrie? She better chime in on this.
Oh, no. Hang on. I will not gamble if she's on the floor because I have always lost when she's on the floor.
I am more superstitious.
I'm very superstitious.
Absolutely.
I will not.
Why?
But hang on. I
when
only bring a certain amount of money.
When I gamble with April,
yeah,
I'm always up. April is always like my lucky charm on the floor. Is a casino.
See,
like
I don't have that. I don't have a
stuff.
plus.
Like
I don't have
April
a plus
is
person.
always
cooler.
I have all
she
I
is
have
always
is like if Carrie's gambling, I'm like, no.
And she's always my conscience. She's like, cash out.
That's funny.
Like, yeah.
I love that.
Like,
that's funny that April's your conscious.
Yeah, like she is. Yeah.
Yeah, because
well, I mean, last time we were in Vegas, Rich had the whole table shouting flamingo because he had a button-up shirt with flamingos on it from the show we went to.
Oh my God.
And so he was hot at the craps table. Like he was up like quite a bit of money at a point. And I mean, he gave it all back, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, the whole table was shouting flamingo.
Wow. All right. So back to problem solving. You get all this money. I get a swimming pool to put it all in. Steph gets a kiddie pool.
I don't like to drown.
You could still drown in a kiddie pool. All you need is this much.
2 inches of water.
But it's just, I don't know. Like, I can't, like, I guess it's difficult to say because when people see the moves I've made in my business from a 10,000 foot overview, I think they feel like I'm more comfortable and more risk forward, like with buying a building and this and that. But people assume that all commercial buildings are significant amount of money, and it wasn't. Like, I mean, it's public record. What I bought that building for was $85,000. So a 10-year mortgage on that, even with this current market, is $1,600 a month.
Right.
Rent is
As
more
opposed
than that.
Yeah, as opposed to the rent.
Right. So it's like people just assume these things and they don't know the details behind it and how you came to those solutions. So they look at you and they're like, well, shit, like she's clearly a risk taker and this and that. No, I'm just practical in my solution. And I got lucky in what like came in front of me.
Well, and when you're solving that problem, like that's the problem you have is you outgrew here. So now you have to solve that problem. This is the most practical solution to solve that problem. So now you have a problem of, hey, I got some extra space. I need to fill it. Right? Not as bad of a problem as having 6 times the rent.
Right.
So much we could unpack.
Oh my God. We like went through the show so fast.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Well,
so I guess we're to the point of what did you learn?
Well,
what did you learn, Joe Turner?
I learned that Eric loves to talk about how tall you are.
I learned that Joe and Carrie interchange toppers and bottoms when they are talking about their business.
Fair.
Sam,
Fair.
what did you learn today?
Steph is vertically challenged. Thanks, Auntie Sharon. We appreciate that.
She is in an unhealthy state of mind right now, so she doesn't count.
Sounds like she's perfectly healthy. She has a perfect outlook on you.
I just don't understand how me and my grandma are the only short people in my whole family. Everybody else is normal height.
Wait, how tall is your mom?
My mom's normal for a woman. She's like 5'7", I think, 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah. I guess I don't remember.
Yeah.
Last time everybody.
What I learned is Eric is phenomenal with names of businesses without using the word midget.
Well, Eric is sitting at our table tomorrow, so you'll be able to meet him.
Yes.
And then the other thing I learned is that people focus on different priorities when they're making decisions and solutions, right? Like you're talking about risk adverse.
My mom's 5'5".
You're talking
Mm-hmm.
That's still average.
Mm-hmm.
Risk, it's low end. So risk adverse. What's going to pay off the most? Whatever it is. What's going to be 3 moves, 4 moves down the road. So everyone has a different way of gauging what the best solution is going to be. I learned that.
Now, if that is enough for you to take that and unpack it a little more real quick, because we have another minute. Do you feel as though you would look at people's problems a little differently? Yeah.
I don't feel like I look at a problem any differently and approach it and solve it than the way that I would do it for myself.
And that is the German Shepherd perspective.
Like
I can't wait to show you this.
Like if you have a problem, like I feel like I would solve it in the perspective of me having the same problem to solve it. Like I couldn't put myself in the shoes of someone else.
Interesting.
Okay, I thought you were talking more about like, is it the type of problem you're?
It's very structured. My life,
you know what I mean?
In general,
Clearly, yes.
Like a problem with.
I live in a 3-foot world.
Tall.
A problem with employees, right, is different than a problem with like your supply chain. So
100%.
Yep. So That's where I thought you were going as far as like, how do you solve it differently through a different lens?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, if you see somebody and they have a problem, do you look at them differently because you know what I mean?
Like,
or do you look at their problem differently or try to solve it differently?
No, I'll solve it the same way if it's my own
You
problem.
always look at it your own way.
Yeah. And if you
Okay.
so yesterday I called my brother, for example, and I'm like, hey, I need to know if I was an asshole. And he's like, I'm going to say yes, but let's hear what you said and the problem. And then we walked through it. Like, he knows, like, I had an issue with my brother leading up to his wedding. And he's like, okay, he's like, how about next time you call me when you're like at a 6 instead of an 8?
Yeah.
He's like, this is vastly.
You went a little too far.
I didn't call him. He wound up calling me because of my aggressive text messages. But I'm just saying that I was just being assertive.
So this is one we have to unpack. There's a show.
Well, we could have him remote in from Arizona.
Not him, but I'm just saying this topic of reading other people's
vibes,
intensity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm only either at a 0 or I'm at a 10. Like, that's it.
That's all you give.
Nothing.
Like, nothing in between usually. Like, if we're in a discussion.
Where were you in the parking lot when you backed me into
You
up against the car?
10?
I was pretty much at a 10 because I needed you to say yes.
Really?
Yes.
You weren't mad.
No.
It's just 10 is intensity.
My assertiveness. Yes. Intensity, bribery, whatever it takes. I was getting the job done. We were going to commit. You were committing to this show, and you clearly did.
Boom.
I think we did it.
Yes.
We're here now.
Boom.
Landed. Okay.
Oh,
we're over time. Kent's going to yell. From the California.
Who cares? Who cares? We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Thanks for getting caught in the net. 21-6 the net.